One reason to put offenders in prison is to make sure they don't come back. But offenders who want to change their lives face many obstacles, including a lack of education. One response is the prison book program, and it's joining in a book drive with the City Mission Society. Our guest in the book program is a volunteer and volunteer coordinator. We'd like to welcome Christine O'Neill. Thank you very much for being with us, Christine.
Thank you.
First of all, why is this so important for people who are in prison right now to have these books?
Books are really important, especially dictionaries, just to help you stay engaged with the world and understand what's going on outside of prison. And it can help you improve your education, because reading is a skill, and if you don't read or practice it, you're not as good at it. So we send a lot of dictionaries to people in prison, and they are able to cope better with their environment by either escaping into a story or simply working on something productive, like improving their math skills or practicing for their GED.
Now, even in the rest of the world, where people don't have these problems to worry about, there might be some people who read and maybe they never reach for a dictionary. They either guess what something means, or they just read something that's simple enough where they don't have to reach for the dictionary. So what's going on here in prison where they actually use these dictionaries?
Yeah, because you don't want to look bad if you're writing a letter to someone and you want to know how to spell it, or you are trying to learn something and you don't have someone who can tell you what it means. So it has to do with, I think, writing and being able to communicate what you want to communicate, and expanding your horizons and improving your understanding when there isn't someone that you can ask necessarily about the meaning of a word.
Now, I know your program supplies books, but how do you engage people to really make use of the books?
The people who we send the books. One thing that's really cool about the prison book program is we're strictly helping individuals who are actively trying to help themselves. So they specifically write to us and ask for what they want, and they are very clear in telling us they have lots of time. They want a long book, or they're really motivated to, they know they want to work for themselves when they get out, because it's going to be so difficult to have someone hire them with their criminal record. So people are pretty motivated. They've already expressed motivation in writing to us, and we assume that they do use them because they write back and tell us how they use the books, and then pass them on to other people in their cell or in their block. So we know they get very well used. One fellow wrote to us and said, well, you know, thank you for the paperback dictionary you sent. Me and my 3 cellmates basically wore it out in about 4 months. So that's about how long it takes us. So could you send us another one, which we certainly did.
By the way, do you ever get any sign that this use of books is really helping people, especially beyond prison?
Yes. The act of connecting with someone who is in prison, who is isolated, is a great benefit to them anyway, because prison isolates you from the rest of the world, and human beings need each other. We're social creatures. So even just having the correspondence with the program to get the books is valuable and helpful to people. But people write and tell us what they mean to them. And one fellow, this is an anecdote about a fellow who came to visit United First Parish Church in Quincy, which is where we operate at the moment. We have been there a couple of years, but we were founded in Boston in the 70s. And we're very graciously given, we have our home in their basement, in the church basement. And this church is quite historic. And a fellow came to visit the church and was on one of the tours to learn about the church, which was the parish originally of President Adams. And he was talking to the man giving the tour about how much the founders of the country meant to him, because when he was in prison as a conscientious objector to the draft for Vietnam, his prison experience changed him into a reader. Before he went to prison, he was not much interested in books, but when he got there and there was nothing else to do, he was able to engage his mind in exciting reading like Emerson and things about the founding of our country, and that profoundly affected his life getting out, such that, I don't remember where he lived, but he took a vacation to come to Massachusetts to visit the home of the Adamses and historic places in Boston that were part of the Revolutionary movement.
I know you said that people in prison say, even give us a long book, but what kinds of books, what kind of subjects are they interested in?
As many subjects as there are people. So there are more than 2 million people in prison in the nation right now, and they are just like any other 2 million readers that you fish out of the nation. So all subjects, everything. I think of particular interest for us in terms of books that we're looking for in our book drive November 5th are paperback dictionaries, which are highly requested, books on drawing, how to draw, books on starting a business, any books on job skills, learning English, Spanish-English dictionaries, preparing for a GED. Those are all topics that are very commonly requested that we don't always have the ability to fulfill. So
you want the books, they don't have to be brand new, but I guess
No.
you want them to be in pretty good shape, though.
Yes, they've got to survive the mail. You know how paperbacks eventually at some point will break down, so we want to make sure they get there in one piece.
By the way, if people want to find out more about how to get involved and where to send the books, what's the best way to do that?
Yes, we are going to be, we have an online presence at www.prisonbookprogram, all one word, .org. And if you put /book drive, that gives you all the information about our book drive November 5th, which will be at the Nonprofit Center, 89 South Street, close to South Station, from 10 to 3, rain or shine. And you can bring one book or you can bring a car full of books. We're ready to take everything. So information is online, but you can just come by on November 5th.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
From the Prison Book Program, Christine O'Neill. Up ahead, the arts segment with Chris Harding.